Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio, one of the most acclaimed and recognizable actors of his generation, was born on November 11, 1974, in Los Angeles, California. His life story, from a modest upbringing in a culturally vibrant but often challenging environment to becoming one of Hollywood's most powerful figures, is a testament to resilience, talent, and relentless ambition. Raised by his mother, Irmlin in Denberken, a German-born legal secretary, after his parents separated when he was only a year old, DiCaprio grew up in a neighborhood far removed from Hollywood glamour. His father, George DiCaprio, was a comic book artist and distributor, whose bohemian lifestyle exposed young Leonardo to a variety of artistic influences. Despite their separation, both parents remained actively involved in his upbringing, shaping his worldview with creativity, curiosity, and an appreciation for the arts. From an early age, DiCaprio showed signs of an intense imagination and a desire for storytelling. His mother, recognizing his energy and expressive nature, encouraged him to pursue acting. By the age of 5, Leonardo had already appeared on the children's television series Romper Room, though he was reportedly removed from the set for being too disruptive. Nevertheless, this marked the beginning of his fascination with performance. Throughout his childhood, he auditioned for commercials and minor roles, gradually learning the intricacies of the entertainment industry. His first real steps into professional acting came in the late 1980s and early 1990s. DiCaprio began landing television commercials for brands like Matchbox Cars, Kraft Foods, and Bubble Yum, where his natural charm and charisma set him apart. He soon transitioned into guest roles on television series, including appearances on The New Lassie, 1989, and Roseanne, 1991. However, his breakthrough in television came when he joined the cast of Growing Pains in its final season, playing Luke Brower, a homeless boy taken in by the Seaver family. This role brought him to national attention and hinted at the emotional depth he would later display in film. At this stage of his career, DiCaprio was determined to be recognized as a serious actor rather than just another child star. He worked tirelessly with his agent to seek out roles that would challenge him artistically. His persistence paid off when he was cast in his first major film role opposite Robert De Niro in This Boy's Life, 1993. Playing Tobias Wolff, a teenager struggling under the abusive authority of his stepfather, DiCaprio displayed extraordinary range, holding his own against seasoned actors like De Niro and Ellen Barkin. Critics immediately took notice, praising his raw talent, emotional authenticity, and the intensity he brought to the screen. That same year, DiCaprio cemented his reputation as a rising star with his unforgettable performance in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, 1993. In the role of Arnie, a mentally disabled boy, DiCaprio delivered a portrayal so convincing and compassionate that it earned him his first Academy Award nomination at the age of 19. His ability to embody vulnerability and complexity in such a demanding role silenced skeptics and proved that he was more than just another Hollywood newcomer. During the mid-1990s, DiCaprio's career gained momentum with roles that highlighted his versatility. He appeared in The Basketball Diaries, 1995, portraying a gifted young athlete spiraling into drug addiction, and in Romeo plus Juliet, 1996, Baz Luhrmann's modern retelling of Shakespeare's classic tragedy. His portrayal of Romeo opposite Claire Danes won him legions of young fans and marked him as both a heartthrob and a serious performer. These roles positioned him at the threshold of superstardom, balancing youthful charisma with an eagerness to take on complex, risky parts. Leonardo DiCaprio's early career was defined by a series of choices that showcased both his talent and his determination to avoid the pitfalls of typecasting. Unlike many young actors who relied solely on their looks or popularity, he sought roles that demanded emotional intensity and dramatic weight. By the mid-1990s, Hollywood had already begun to view him as one of the most promising actors of his generation. What set him apart was not only his ability to draw audiences but also his insistence on pursuing projects that would challenge him as an artist. In summary, Leonardo DiCaprio's biography and early career reflect the journey of a boy who grew up in modest circumstances, nurtured by parents who valued art and creativity, and who transformed his childhood dreams into a powerful reality. His rise was not the result of chance but of determination, careful choices, and an innate ability to connect with audiences on a deeply human level. These formative years laid the foundation for what would become one of the most illustrious careers in modern cinema, setting the stage for the superstardom and critical acclaim that awaited him in the years to come. After years of building his reputation as a serious young actor, Leonardo DiCaprio entered the late 1990s with a career trajectory that would soon catapult him into global superstardom. The defining moment came in 1997, when James Cameron cast him in Titanic, a sweeping historical romance set against the tragic sinking of the RMS Titanic. DiCaprio played Jack Dawson, a poor artist who falls in love with Rose DeWitt Bukater, portrayed by Kate Winslet. The film became a worldwide phenomenon, grossing over $2 billion at the box office and winning 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. While Titanic was a triumph for cinema as a whole, for DiCaprio, it marked the beginning of his peak years, a period that would shape his legacy as both a cultural icon and a critically respected actor. The impact of Titanic was unparalleled. Practically overnight, DiCaprio transformed into the face of a global sensation. He became the ultimate symbol of youthful romance, plastered on magazine covers, adored by millions of fans, and revered as the quintessential leading man of his generation. The so-called Leomania swept across continents, with teenage fans screaming his name at premieres and treating him like a rock star rather than a traditional actor. While some worried he might be pigeonholed as a heartthrob, DiCaprio understood the importance of using his newfound fame as a platform to seek roles that would allow him to grow artistically. In the early 2000s, DiCaprio deliberately chose projects that distanced him from the image of Jack Dawson. His collaboration with legendary director Martin Scorsese proved pivotal. Their first film together, Gangs of New York, 2002, showcased DiCaprio as Amsterdam Valen, a young man seeking revenge in the gritty, violent underworld of 19th-century New York. Though the film received mixed reviews, it was praised for its ambition and confirmed DiCaprio's willingness to tackle challenging roles. This partnership with Scorsese would go on to define a large portion of DiCaprio's peak career, cementing him as one of the greatest actors of his era. In The Aviator, 2004, another Scorsese collaboration, DiCaprio delivered one of the most acclaimed performances of his career. Portraying Howard Hughes, the eccentric aviation pioneer and film director, DiCaprio captured Hughes's brilliance and descent into obsessive-compulsive disorder with extraordinary detail and emotional nuance. The role earned him a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor and an Academy Award nomination, further proving that he was more than capable of carrying a film both commercially and critically. The mid-2000s saw DiCaprio on a remarkable run of success. He starred in The Departed, 2006, another Scorsese-directed masterpiece, playing Billy Costigan, an undercover cop infiltrating the Boston mob. The film won the Academy Award for Best Picture, and though DiCaprio did not win an Oscar for his role, critics praised his intense and layered performance. That same year, he appeared in Blood Diamond, playing a South African mercenary caught in the brutal diamond trade. His performance earned him yet another Academy Award nomination and highlighted his ability to tackle politically charged and socially relevant material. During this period, DiCaprio established himself not only as a bankable star but also as one of the few actors who could consistently balance box office appeal with artistic credibility. His career choices demonstrated a careful blend of blockbuster projects and serious dramas. In Shutter Island, 2010, he explored psychological horror with Scorsese, playing a U.S. Marshal investigating a mysterious asylum. The same year, he starred in Christopher Nolan's Inception, a mind-bending science fiction thriller that became a cultural phenomenon and grossed over $800 million worldwide. Perhaps the most important peak moment in his career came in 2013 with The Wolf of Wall Street, his fifth collaboration with Scorsese. As Jordan Belfort, a corrupt stockbroker consumed by greed, excess, and debauchery, DiCaprio gave a fearless, over-the-top performance that pushed the boundaries of comedy and tragedy. The role earned him a Golden Globe Award and an Academy Award nomination, and it remains one of his most iconic portrayals. The film also solidified his reputation for being willing to embrace roles that were morally complex and risky, rather than sticking to safe, conventional characters. After years of critical acclaim and multiple nominations, DiCaprio finally reached the pinnacle of his career in 2016 when he won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in The Revenant. Directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu, the film required DiCaprio to endure extreme physical challenges, including sub-zero temperatures and grueling wilderness conditions, in his portrayal of frontiersman Hugh Glass. His raw, visceral performance captivated audiences and critics alike, and his long-awaited Oscar victory was celebrated around the world. The peak of Leonardo DiCaprio's career cannot be measured solely by awards or box office numbers. It also lies in his ability to redefine what it means to be a leading man in Hollywood. He successfully bridged the gap between commercial superstardom and artistic credibility, managing to retain his fan base while constantly reinventing himself as an actor. His peak years were marked by bold choices, iconic collaborations, and a refusal to conform to Hollywood stereotypes. In conclusion, the peak of Leonardo DiCaprio's career represents not just the story of an actor who achieved fame but of an artist who harnessed that fame to push the boundaries of cinema. From Titanic to The Revenant, he evolved from a teen idol into one of the most respected and influential actors of his time. His peak years, spanning the late 1990s through the 2010s, solidified his place in Hollywood history, ensuring that his name would be remembered not just as a movie star but as a transformative figure in modern film. For all his talent, fame, and global admiration, Leonardo DiCaprio's career has not been without moments of turbulence, criticism, and public controversy. While he managed to avoid the kind of career-destroying scandals that plagued many Hollywood stars of his generation, DiCaprio often found himself the subject of debate whether due to his lifestyle choices, the themes of his films, or his outspoken activism. His crises and controversies reveal the complicated dynamic between celebrity, artistry, and the expectations placed on a public figure of his magnitude. One of the earliest controversies DiCaprio faced after the success of Titanic was the challenge of being typecast. While millions adored him as Jack Dawson, many critics initially dismissed him as merely a pretty face or a teen idol rather than a serious actor. The weight of Titanic's success threatened to overshadow his credibility, and he often expressed frustration at being reduced to a heartthrob in the eyes of the press. This created a period of professional crisis in the late 1990s, where DiCaprio had to carefully select roles that would rebuild his reputation. His appearances in films like The Beach, 2000, received mixed reviews, and some critics questioned whether he could sustain his career beyond the Titanic phenomenon. Another source of controversy has been DiCaprio's personal lifestyle, particularly in contrast with his strong stance on environmental issues. A passionate advocate for climate change awareness and sustainability, DiCaprio has used his platform to fund documentaries, speak at the United Nations, and establish the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. Yet critics have frequently accused him of hypocrisy, pointing to his frequent use of private jets, luxury yachts, and high-end vacations, all of which contribute to carbon emissions. This tension between his environmental activism and his glamorous Hollywood lifestyle has fueled media debates, with some arguing that his message was undermined by his actions. DiCaprio has often responded by highlighting his financial contributions and efforts to fund renewable energy projects, but the controversy continues to follow him. DiCaprio's romantic life has also been a source of public scrutiny and occasional backlash. Known for dating a series of high-profile supermodels, many much younger than him, he has been criticized for perpetuating a Peter Pan image of refusing to settle down or engage in long-term relationships. Tabloid headlines and social media discourse often joke about his relationships ending once his partners reach their mid-20s, creating an ongoing narrative that has sometimes overshadowed his professional achievements. While DiCaprio rarely comments on his private life, this pattern has become a cultural talking point and a minor stain on his otherwise carefully managed public image. In terms of film choices, some of DiCaprio's projects have sparked controversy for their subject matter. The Wolf of Wall Street, 2013, for example, was widely criticized for its explicit depictions of drug use, sex, and debauchery. While the film was a critical and commercial success, some accused DiCaprio and director Martin Scorsese of glamorizing Jordan Belfort's corrupt lifestyle rather than condemning it. DiCaprio defended the project by arguing that it served as a cautionary tale about greed and excess, but the debate reflected broader cultural anxieties about Hollywood's role in portraying immoral characters. Beyond Hollywood, DiCaprio has also faced political controversies due to his environmental activism. His speeches at international forums, such as the United Nations Climate Summit, have made him a prominent voice on global warming. While he has been praised by many environmental groups, skeptics and political opponents have accused him of being elitist or disconnected from the realities faced by ordinary people. Some industry insiders have also criticized his influence, suggesting that celebrities should not dictate global policy discussions. Another moment of crisis came from the sheer pressure of his Oscar journey. For years, DiCaprio became the most high-profile actor never to have won an Academy Award despite multiple nominations. The internet turned this into a cultural phenomenon, with countless memes mocking his Oscar curse. Although not a personal scandal, the narrative created immense public pressure and speculation about whether he would ever achieve the recognition that many believed he deserved. This long wait arguably became one of the most exhausting crises of his career, one that was finally resolved with his victory for The Revenant in 2016. Despite these controversies, it is important to note that DiCaprio's crises rarely escalated into career-ending scandals. Unlike many of his peers, he managed to avoid substance abuse problems, criminal charges, or destructive behavior that could have derailed his reputation. His controversies, while persistent, often reflect the challenges of living under constant media scrutiny rather than personal failings of great magnitude. In conclusion, the crises and controversies of Leonardo DiCaprio's life reveal the complexities of navigating fame at the highest level. He has faced accusations of hypocrisy, criticism for his romantic choices, and skepticism about his artistic credibility, yet he has consistently emerged stronger and more respected. By balancing his activism, professional integrity, and personal privacy, DiCaprio has managed to weather storms that might have consumed others. His ability to endure controversy without losing his stature is a testament to his resilience and a reminder that even the brightest stars must live in the shadow of public scrutiny. Leonardo DiCaprio's career, though marked by early superstardom and occasional controversy, is equally defined by his extraordinary ability to reinvent himself and stage one of the most remarkable comebacks in Hollywood history. After the overwhelming fame of Titanic and the subsequent doubts about his ability to transition from heartthrob to serious actor, DiCaprio embarked on a journey of artistic rebirth that not only cemented his status as one of the finest actors of his generation but also redefined his public image. His resurgence was not sudden but rather the product of deliberate choices, intense discipline, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. The foundation of his comeback was his collaboration with visionary directors, particularly Martin Scorsese. Beginning with Gangs of New York, 2002, DiCaprio entered a new creative chapter that distanced him from the teen idol persona and aligned him with complex, often morally ambiguous characters. Their partnership flourished in films such as The Aviator, 2004, in which DiCaprio delivered a tour de force performance as aviation pioneer and eccentric billionaire Howard Hughes. The role required him to embody Hughes' brilliance, paranoia, and decline into obsessive-compulsive disorder, and DiCaprio's performance won him critical acclaim while proving his depth as an actor. This marked a turning point in his career, a definitive step away from superficial stardom and into the realm of transformative artistry. Throughout the 2000s and 2010s, DiCaprio carefully curated his roles to emphasize substance over spectacle. In Blood Diamond, 2006, he tackled the morally conflicted role of a mercenary amid the Sierra Leone Civil War, a performance that earned him another Academy Award nomination. In The Departed, 2006, under Scorsese's direction, he embodied the turmoil of an undercover cop torn between duty and survival, showcasing his ability to navigate intensity and vulnerability in equal measure. Each of these performances solidified his reputation as a versatile actor capable of handling the darkest shades of human experience. DiCaprio's comeback also extended beyond his acting. His growing reputation as a producer allowed him to bring socially relevant stories to the screen. Films such as The 11th Hour, 2007, a documentary on environmental crises, revealed his determination to use his platform for more than entertainment. This integration of art and activism became a cornerstone of his renewed identity, bridging the gap between Hollywood glamour and real-world responsibility. The pinnacle of DiCaprio's resurgence arguably came in the 2010s, when he consistently delivered some of the strongest performances of his career. Inception, 2010, directed by Christopher Nolan, showcased his ability to anchor complex, high-concept blockbusters with emotional weight. The Wolf of Wall Street, 2013, a manic exploration of greed and excess, allowed him to embrace chaos while maintaining artistic precision. Though polarizing in its depiction of excess, the film reaffirmed his daring approach to challenging, controversial material. For years, however, DiCaprio's career seemed haunted by one lingering absence: the Academy Award. Despite multiple nominations and iconic performances, he remained without the industry's highest honor. This narrative created immense public fascination, and with every award season, the Oscar question loomed over him. Finally, in 2016, his comeback journey reached its emotional climax when he won the Best Actor Oscar for The Revenant, 2015. His performance as Hugh Glass, a frontiersman who survives a brutal bear attack and a merciless wilderness, was a triumph of physical and emotional endurance. The role demanded grueling conditions and raw vulnerability, and his victory not only silenced years of speculation but also symbolized his full transformation from youthful star to seasoned legend. DiCaprio's resurgence was not limited to professional success but also personal growth. While his lifestyle choices continued to attract media attention, he increasingly positioned himself as a serious advocate for global change. His work as an environmental activist, particularly his efforts to combat climate change, became an integral part of his identity. Speaking at the United Nations and funding initiatives to preserve endangered ecosystems, he merged celebrity with purpose in a way few Hollywood figures had achieved. This activism added another dimension to his comeback, painting him not just as an actor but as a global citizen with enduring influence. What makes DiCaprio's journey of resurgence so compelling is its deliberate nature. He resisted the easy path of commercial blockbusters designed solely for box office success, instead gravitating toward films that challenged both himself and his audiences. He cultivated a career defined by artistic integrity, social consciousness, and resilience, proving that his early fame was not a fleeting accident but the beginning of a long and evolving legacy. In summary, Leonardo DiCaprio's resurgence and comeback represent one of the most inspiring arcs in Hollywood history. From being dismissed as a teen idol trapped by Titanic's shadow, he transformed into an actor of extraordinary depth and influence, consistently pushing boundaries and redefining his place in cinema. His Oscar win was not just a personal triumph but a cultural moment, symbolizing the vindication of decades of effort, risk, and reinvention. Today, DiCaprio stands not only as a cinematic powerhouse but as a figure of resilience, whose journey demonstrates the power of reinvention and the enduring pursuit of greatness. Leonardo DiCaprio's legacy extends far beyond the walls of cinema. His career, marked by resilience, reinvention, and excellence, has left an indelible imprint on Hollywood and the global cultural landscape. From his evolution as a child actor to one of the most respected figures in film, DiCaprio's journey has reshaped not only the standards of performance but also the very definition of what it means to be a celebrity in the modern era. In the realm of acting, DiCaprio's influence is monumental. He is widely regarded as one of the finest actors of his generation, consistently raising the bar for dramatic depth and emotional authenticity. His performances are marked by a fearless commitment to roles that demand vulnerability, transformation, and risk. Whether portraying historical figures like Howard Hughes in The Aviator, corrupt stockbroker Jordan Belfort in The Wolf of Wall Street, or survivalist Hugh Glass in The Revenant, DiCaprio demonstrated a versatility and intensity that few actors can match. His approach to character work, blending method-like immersion with intellectual precision, has inspired countless younger actors who see in him a model of dedication and artistry. Equally important is the way DiCaprio redefined the trajectory of a Hollywood career. After Titanic, many assumed he would be confined to the role of a romantic idol. Instead, he charted a path that defied expectations, proving that reinvention and long-term artistic credibility were possible. This resilience has influenced not only his peers but also emerging actors who look to his career as proof that authenticity and longevity matter more than fleeting fame. His ability to sustain relevance across 3 decades, while constantly reinventing his craft, is now a blueprint for success in an industry often obsessed with novelty. DiCaprio's influence extends beyond the silver screen into the arena of environmental activism. Unlike many celebrities who dabble in causes for publicity, he has committed his voice, resources, and reputation to one of the most urgent issues of our time: climate change. Through the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, established in 1998, he has supported projects dedicated to biodiversity conservation, ocean and forest preservation, and indigenous rights. His 2016 Oscar acceptance speech, in which he used his moment of triumph to warn about the dangers of environmental neglect, was a defining moment that resonated with millions worldwide. By using his fame as a platform for activism, DiCaprio helped normalize the expectation that cultural icons should use their visibility for meaningful change. His influence also lies in his choice of films, many of which engage with moral, social, or historical themes. Blood Diamond shed light on the ethical costs of consumerism, while The Wolf of Wall Street became a cautionary tale about greed and excess. Even Don't Look Up, 2021, a satirical film about climate denial, reflected his deep concern for global crises and his willingness to blend art with activism. In this sense, DiCaprio's legacy is not only artistic but also educational. His projects push audiences to reflect on humanity's flaws, ambitions, and responsibilities. Furthermore, DiCaprio's collaborations with legendary directors Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, Baz Luhrmann have enriched the cinematic canon with masterpieces that will be studied and admired for decades. His repeated partnership with Scorsese, in particular, mirrors the great actor-director duos of earlier eras, evoking comparisons to Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. These collaborations underscore his role not just as an actor but as a curator of high-quality storytelling, choosing projects that elevate cinema as an art form. DiCaprio's cultural influence also resides in the public's perception of him as a figure of perseverance. For years, his pursuit of an Academy Award became a global meme, symbolizing the struggles of recognition faced by even the most talented individuals. When he finally won in 2016, it was celebrated not only as his personal victory but as a triumph for persistence, hard work, and artistic integrity. His Oscar win stands as one of the most iconic moments in contemporary Hollywood, ensuring that his name will forever be linked to the narrative of enduring ambition and ultimate vindication. Finally, DiCaprio's legacy is international. His films have resonated across borders, and his activism has engaged with global audiences, making him more than just an American actor. He has become a cultural ambassador, demonstrating the power of cinema and celebrity to unite people across diverse backgrounds around shared concerns for art, humanity, and the planet. In sum, Leonardo DiCaprio's legacy is multifaceted, He is not only a masterful actor but also a symbol of reinvention, a beacon of environmental activism, and a cultural icon whose influence will endure long after his last role. His journey from a child actor in television sitcoms to one of the most celebrated and respected figures in the world illustrates the transformative power of perseverance, artistry, and conscience. Future generations will remember him not only for his unforgettable performances but for his unwavering commitment to using his voice for causes greater than himself. DiCaprio's story is a testament to the idea that true legacy lies not in fleeting fame but in enduring impact. Behind the glamour of Hollywood, the accolades, and the iconic performances, Leonardo DiCaprio has also carried with him profound sorrows that shaped both his personal life and his artistic journey. Though celebrated worldwide as one of cinema's brightest stars, DiCaprio's life has been marked by moments of heartbreak, loss, and the weight of responsibility that fame often amplifies. These sorrows, rather than diminishing him, have contributed to his depth as a performer and his humanity as a person. One of the most significant sources of sorrow in DiCaprio's life has been the instability of his early family life. Born to parents who divorced when he was just a year old, DiCaprio was raised by his mother, Irma, in a working-class neighborhood of Los Angeles. While his mother's love and devotion gave him stability, DiCaprio has often spoken about the harsh environment of his childhood, witnessing crime, poverty, and addiction on the streets around him. Growing up in such a rough environment left lasting impressions on him, instilling both resilience and a deep awareness of the fragility of life. These early struggles became one of the emotional foundations upon which he built his acting career, but they also carried with them lingering sorrow about a fractured family and the hardships of his youth. As DiCaprio grew into fame, another sorrow emerged: the difficulty of finding stability in his personal relationships. His love life has been endlessly scrutinized by the media, often reduced to tabloid stories about his romances. Yet, behind the headlines lies the deeper truth of a man who has struggled to balance personal intimacy with the relentless pressures of global fame. DiCaprio has never married, and although he has had high-profile relationships, many have ended under the weight of public attention and the demands of his career. For a man who has long admired the value of family, the absence of a lasting partnership and children has been an emotional void, a private sorrow that contrasts with his professional success. Another profound sorrow in DiCaprio's life has been the loss of friends and colleagues. His rise in the 1990s placed him at the heart of a generation of young Hollywood actors, many of whom struggled with substance abuse and the dark side of fame. The death of River Phoenix in 1993 was a turning point for DiCaprio, serving as a painful reminder of the dangers surrounding him. Years later, he would also mourn the passing of his friend Heath Ledger, whose tragic death in 2008 shook the entire film industry. These losses not only saddened DiCaprio personally but also reinforced his determination to navigate fame with caution, choosing discipline and focus over self-destruction. Yet the sorrow of losing peers in such tragic circumstances left emotional scars that he still carries. DiCaprio has also spoken of the sorrow tied to his environmental activism. For decades, he has dedicated himself to raising awareness about climate change and ecological destruction. Yet, despite his tireless efforts, he has often expressed frustration and heartbreak at the lack of progress, the denial of science, and the ongoing exploitation of nature. Watching forests burn, species go extinct, and oceans degrade has been a deep personal sorrow for him, as he sees these events not just as global issues but as existential wounds to humanity's shared home. The burden of trying to use his platform to drive change, while witnessing continuing destruction, has been one of the emotional struggles of his life. Perhaps the greatest sorrow of all, however, lies in the paradox of his fame. Despite his global recognition, DiCaprio has often confessed to feeling the isolation that comes with being one of the most watched men in the world. The inability to live anonymously, the constant public judgment, and the pressure to uphold an image are hidden burdens that outsiders rarely see. Fame brought him fortune and influence, but it also took away privacy and, in many ways, the possibility of a normal life. This loneliness, tucked behind a smile of red carpets and the applause of audiences, is one of the silent sorrows of Leonardo DiCaprio's journey. Yet what makes DiCaprio remarkable is how he has transformed these sorrows into strength. The pain of his fractured childhood became fuel for his empathy as an actor. The heartbreak of failed relationships gave him emotional depth for his roles. The grief of losing friends inspired his discipline and compassion. The sorrow of environmental destruction turned into a lifelong mission to fight for change. Even the loneliness of fame became a lens through which he could portray the complexities of human isolation on screen.